Welcome, everybody, to Night of the Nerdy Laser Podcast, episode 135. I am your host, as always, Richard. This is a man's fucking jobule.
And it's actually 136 Jeff Lown.
Oh, is it? Oh, well,
Yeah.
there you go. If I can find out what's going on around here.
It is fine.
So yeah, here we are again, Jeff. We're gonna be talking about a horror movie, and this cast won't be as interesting to talk about as our last one, I guess,
Not at all.
because last week we covered uh,
Altered.
the Blair Witch Project directors Altered. And this week we are covering Grave Encounters.
We are.
From 2011.
Yep. That's what we're doing.
Feels way earlier than that. Like, it doesn't, like, just from a, like, story perspective and a feel perspective. And this is one, of course, that I haven't seen, but I've heard a lot about it, so I was pretty okay when you picked it. I heard it was really good from a lot of people. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a movie.
You're right. It certainly is. So, I mean, obviously, this movie is based off of like Ghost Adventures and all the other paranormal shows, all 700 of them that the Travel Channel and Discovery Channel and Sci-Fi Network put out in the early 2000s, I guess, and still now.
Yeah.
So, to me, I picked this one. Sorry. I picked it because I've been watching a lot of
Don't
those shows.
apologize. I'm probably the only person that doesn't. I mean, it's not. I don't hate the movie. I mean, I don't hate it, but I mean, I'm just. It's one of those things where, like, I watched Reservoir Dogs after everybody talked about how great it was, and I'm like, Pulp Fiction's way fucking better.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll get into the movie a little bit more, but I picked it, like I said, because I've been watching that stuff. So I was like, it'd be fun to kind of revisit this just to kind of see how they capture how the people in the like reality shows act compared to like a fake movie.
Yeah.
And it's pretty spot on. like this guy is Zach Baggins from Ghost Adventures and his crew. They're like, we're gonna startle the ghosts. I'm possessed. Oh, I'm gonna fight you. It's like, chill, dude. All right, maybe not take all the steroids when you go into the gym, but the hair, the clothes, the way they act, everything is pretty good.
Well, and they do a good job of like making it feel like a TV show too,
right?
Like they're making a TV show. At the beginning, we kind of get like a Cannibal Holocaust thing where you get a producer talking that this was a series that that these people were making for them, and this is the 6th episode. And I guess we'll spoil it or just talk about it. I don't know, but if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on the newly revamped Tubi.
Yeah, now with more commercials.
So there's more commercials like in sections, like in like they put like 3 back to back, and then I don't know. I still don't mind them. It still doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't like the logo and where it goes Tubi. I don't. That shit bothers me more than the commercials.
I guess I ignore that part.
Fuck, I watch Netflix and Paramount, Hulu, and I pay for all that shit, and I still watch commercials.
Yeah.
So
capitalism, baby.
But I mean, I guess that's why I'm okay with it. And it's bullshit, and I don't know if I've went through this before, but like Thanksgiving is on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Not if you have the ad-based Netflix.
Oh, so they started throttling like what you could watch.
Yep.
Levels.
You go to click on it, and it just says you're not allowed to watch this with your tier or whatever.
Wow. And I know Amazon did a thing recently where it was like, hey, we're going to just start putting commercials in, even though you pay for all that to not have commercials, but now there's going to be commercials. So enjoy that.
I will say this for Grave Encounters and Tubi. For some reason, the Tubi lines up, the Tubi ads line up almost exactly to where like they cut and like the scene fades, and like it was pretty good.
most of Tubi's always done that. That's one thing I always kind of defended with them is like the commercials were never that bad. A little worse now, but they always did them in spots where it felt like natural, like where it wasn't
like
just
a TV,
where it
like you
wasn't
were
like me
watching
talking,
TV.
then all of a sudden it was like now like spam, eat some spam or what. It's like no, don't do it when I'm talking. But yeah, no. So they don't do too bad with the commercials as far as like timing wise. There's more of them now, which I think is stupid, but whatever. So this movie, Grave Encounters, it premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival in 2011.
So that's 3 Beccas.
Multiple
Okay,
Beccas,
better
yeah.
than 2.
Well, by one, yeah. So it got its reputation because I guess of the trailer kind of went viral. And I think in the second film they even put that in the movie. Like they're like, "Oh, look at the trailer," and then they try to play it the meta thing where it's like, kind of like they did with the Cannibal Holocaust like intro thing to this one. They kind of do that in the next one too with the trailer, acknowledging that the trailer basically made him. It's a Canadian film, and I guess it generated 30 million views, that trailer. So it really kind of backed them up because it only had a budget of $120,000.
That's
and
crazy.
and it made 5.4 million.
Hmm.
So I mean, found footage again, still showing why it's cheaper and more lucrative, I guess, at the time to kind of do that.
Yeah, one day we're gonna have to do the Wreck movies.
Oh, I'd love to do the Wreck movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I went on my buddy Duncan's podcast at one point and
I
covered
have the box set.
from Scream.
I don't know.
I think it's if the Blu-ray, then yes, it was the Scream Factory one.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
really really interesting. Did you see the American one of it?
Yeah,
Not
Quarantine,
Quarantine, yeah.
where they show the end in the trailer. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
show the last scene of the movie in the fucking trailer.
well, that's what we do. We ruin stuff in trailers in America.
Well, Wreck and Quarantine are very similar.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, the only difference is the end, right? Like I mean, Wreck goes
More a little more religious based.
religious and Quarantine goes more virus, right?
Right. And I mean, it makes sense because out of Spain, there's a lot of Christianity,
Yeah.
Catholicism, stuff like that. So very much fitting for what it does. But I think, I think Rec and then where Rec 2 picks up, I kind of love those movies. I don't even mind 3 and 4, honestly.
I love 3. I honestly haven't seen 4. 3 is the wedding, right?
Yeah, I think it's so cool
Yeah.
how they switch between formats on it. It's
Yes.
another Cannibal Holocaust like kind of move.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I need to watch 3 again because I liked it. And 3 wasn't really tied to 1 or 2, but 4 is tied to 1 and 2, right?
So they're all tied together, yeah, but 3
Well, 3 doesn't have
not as much.
characters.
No.
I mean, it's still the same scenario. It's just not in a building.
Right.
Did you ever see Quarantine 2?
Yeah, I think I watched that on Sci-Fi Network or Netflix.
It's good. It's okay.
Not bad. It's different.
Yeah, because it's like at an airport.
Yeah, they're trapped on the plane, then they get out, and they're kind of like in the baggage thing where all the tunnels, the bags go and stuff when they scan them in. It's cool. It's a cool concept. I mean, execution-wise, not great, but it's fine.
I mean, it was straight to DVD, so.
It was straight to DVD, and I went straight to Walmart and bought it when it came out. So what's that say about me?
I mean, a lot says about you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Your tubs of movies you showed me says a lot about you.
Buy them. Buy those.
I give you $1 a piece.
$3. All right.
Don't tempt me.
That's funny.
All right. Grave Encounters. So yeah, the basic premise is that it's brought up, like I said, by a producer, and they said that this was sent in to them by these people, and they picked it up, and this is the 6th episode, and they haven't edited it or anything. And then it picks up them going to this basically insane asylum.
Yeah. And that's,
and
like,
the
my
night
favorite
before,
setting.
and they're gonna spend the night at in this insane asylum. I was more interested in like the people they were talking to at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I think that should have been more of the movie, honestly. Like, it
It
was
would've
more interesting, and I want to know about the caretaker.
the groundskeeper guy that's like, "I saw a ghost over there."
Well, yeah, and then he never showed like, and then whatever he doesn't. He's had to know what happens, and like we don't even know what happens. Like,
So I think they interviewed 3 different people. They interview, like, the guy that owns the property, the caretaker, and then I'm thinking of the, like, maintenance man or the guy that takes care of the yard and stuff around it. And
yeah,
then that's I like that scene because it's funny because it's a dumb ghost show like that, and he pays him off, pays him 20 bucks. He's like, "Say you saw a ghost." And that guy's like, "I saw a ghost over there." And he's just standing there, and he's like, so that's kind of funny, and it makes me laugh, and that's, it makes me like, that's kind of one of the reasons I like this movie initially, because they're like kind of jabbing the ghost hunters guys that are like, that take it so seriously, and then you could tell it's all staged dumb stuff. But the other 2 guys that they're kind of touring the facility with give them little snippets of like stories and the history of the doctor they kind of find out about, and that reminded me of like the House on Haunted Hill doctor in a way,
yeah.
from '99. But I mean, we get his story, and we kind of get him towards the end, and
They did
uh,
lobotomies and all
yeah,
sorts of stuff.
yeah. And the other guys like, and in this area it was like a bathtub. And the fake psychic guy they bring in, he tells like stories too, and those stories like kind of come to life, and they pull the camera guy or whatever into that uh, the bathtub at one point, which is,
I mean, that's probably the best scene of the movie, or at
yeah,
least the most like oh shit moment, kind of.
yeah, it is for sure. Because I mean, there's a lot that goes on for like a not a lot going on.
Well,
You
yeah, I
just,
mean, for like a half hour, 40 minutes, we get an actual show, kind of like.
yeah, like
I
the
mean,
ghost story.
it's not edited, but I mean, you're getting them filming a show.
Right.
So they get this caretaker to put a chain on the door and lock them in and not let them back out till 6 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, the movie's not boring, so that's good. I don't know. For some reason, I guess it's what you like about the movie is probably what I don't like. Like, I don't really like the Ghost Hunter stuff. I
Hmm.
don't watch it anymore. I watched it back in the day, but it kind of just gets on my nerves. So they kind of get on my nerves. So I don't know.
No, I understand that. That's
Um, I mean, I appreciated some of the characters that weren't like the main guy. The guy that gets pulled in that bathtub is good. I like the girl, and then I really like the guy, the psychic, I guess.
yeah, the fake psychic.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was the best. But I guess the main character is kind of supposed to get on your nerves, and
Right.
he did.
They're, like I said, very much like just a mirror image of what the guys on the Ghost Adventure show are. Like they even do the like, mark this area because this is gonna be a hot spot or whatever, and all that stuff with the tape. And
Oh yeah, yeah, they did that in this. Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of why I like it. But so I mean, the characters, I could see how they could get annoying. So no fault there or anything. But I think that's what makes it kind of work for me. And
They
just,
weren't like innkeepers annoying. They weren't like that guy innkeepers annoying.
yeah, I was,
Because I love innkeepers, but that guy, oof,
yeah,
he's intolerable.
he's yeah, he is. We'll leave it at that.
So yeah, I mean, we get like a bunch of spooky stuff. One of the people goes missing, and I think for me, one of the coolest parts of the movie, like I said, we're just gonna spoil it because that's the only way I can talk about it. One of the coolest parts for me is when they find Matt. So Matt goes missing for like 20 minutes of the movie, probably, and they finally find him, and he's like in a hospital gown, rocking in a corner, just
Yeah,
mumbling to himself. Like, I thought that was like a good oh shit moment too. Like,
Yeah, they do some creative things rather than just killing off the people or making them disappear or whatever. It's cool that they, because it's in the second one you kind of find out it's like times different within the facility or something like that, and they kind of even hint at it in this one. They're like, it's my phone. He pulls his phone up at one point.
Yeah.
It says it's 140. There's no way. And then there's the part where they look in the cooler at the food, and
And
it all
it's
went
all
bad.
maggots and
Yeah. So like time just does it works differently in that place, like when you get trapped in it, I guess. So I thought that was kind of a cool concept, actually. So
I might have to watch this. So it explains it a little bit.
sort of, yeah. There's a character's back, and you try to figure out why, and because what I think, if I remember right, I said they do the like they do the trailer thing at the beginning and be like, oh look, this was so successful, and then we release the footage to you, and then some people see it and they're like, all right, we got to get in there and check it out because there's no way that's real, and then it kind of gets more into the story, more in depth and all that stuff. But I think two's on Tubi as well, so
Yeah, it is. It actually, for some reason, when I searched, it comes up before Grave Encounter. So it's kind
yeah,
of
me
stupid.
too.
So that's cool. I may watch it. Is there a 3 that was not done by the same people, or am I making that up?
No, as far as I know, it was just a two.
Okay.
I don't even think they
Um.
made a third.
So yeah. I mean, this movie is a lot like the Hell House LLC or whatever.
Yeah,
Whereas like people love it and they're independent movies, low budgets. I haven't seen Hell House either. I've been meaning to, so
I've seen them
maybe
all.
we'll do that for like Halloween or something.
It'd be a fun
Um,
one. Yeah, the first one anyway.
yeah, yeah. Well, I've heard 2 is good, but then I hear that kind of goes really bad.
Yeah, yeah. One was a surprise. Like I thought it was done, well enough, and you could tell they kind of lean into it, like having that success in the new ones. How they make them the little nods and stuff, and you're like, don't do that. So, but yeah, the two was okay. Three, you're like, that's not good. And then they did like a prequel one that came out last Halloween, I want to say.
Yeah, Origins.
Yeah, like Carmichael Manor, something like that.
Yeah. So you know who else probably hasn't seen those movies?
Oh, you talking about Jason down at the dungeon?
Jason Down at the Dungeon in Maryville, Tennessee on East Broadway. Hit that roundabout, find Southland Books, and go around the building. And you'll find Jason chained up at the dungeon selling all his wares, such as tarot cards, VHS, DVDs, Blu rays, video games, vinyl records, laser discs. Some Funko Pops are scattered throughout, and just a good assortment of horror VHS if you want that fix, then you can visit Jason and talk with him. Or if you can't visit Jason because you don't live in Maryville, Tennessee, or close enough to drive in, like Jeff, just go to Instagram and follow Southland_Dungeon. He posts a lot of stuff that he gets in, stuff that might be timely. And if you see something you like, just send him a message and y'all can work it out. And tell him Night of the Nerdy Laser sends you, and he'll give you a good deal. So we talked about the guy in the bathtub. So there's a bathtub, and a girl kills herself in it. This is a story that the psychic is saying, or one of the
It was a psychic.
landowner, or whoever, and it's all blood stained and stuff. And they find the bathtub later, and it's full of blood, like to the rim.
Yeah.
And the one guy's standing next to it, and all of a sudden, I mean, a girl figure comes out of the bathtub, pulls him in. They tip it over, and just the blood.
Yeah, he's just gone.
Yeah, it's just the blood pours out. There's no bodies, not even his. So that, I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, I don't really appreciate that we don't get explanations for it, but I mean, it's fine. I mean, we don't. I mean, we get an explanation as far as this place is just crazy, I guess.
Yeah.
It's haunted and whatever.
Yeah, that's about it. Like, I mean, as far as the setting, like I really like hospital movies or like asylum movies. I always think
Yeah.
it's a cool setting. I always think it's a cool setting for like the ghost adventures or ghost hunters people too, and like the real shows, just because the energy and stuff in those buildings, if ghosts and stuff are real, the energy and like negative energy in places like that
Yeah.
probably was at its highest. So that in prisons. But yeah, no, so it's kind of cool. There's one scene in this movie too. Well, there's two I want to talk about. The one where they see the girl kind of like crying or whatever, and she turns and it's like that face or whatever, like a
Oh
digital
yeah.
distortion face or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
That like when I first saw that, I was like, whoa, that was crazy. Like when I first watched the movie. Each time I've watched it since, I'm like, that looks not good at all. So,
I like the one where the girl's mouth opens up
yeah,
real wide.
yeah, that's the one I'm talking
That's the
about.
one. Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, I like that part. I like when the girl's mouth opens up.
Yeah, see, so it's the first time you watch it, you think it's good. Go back
Oh,
a few
keep
times and
watching it.
watch it, and you're like, okay, that doesn't look that great in the grand scheme of things. But there's another scene where they say it's not edited, but there's a bunch of weird cuts, like they just splice stuff together. So you're like, okay, don't say it's not edited, but then give
I
us
mean, I guess it could be where the camera is shut off and then shut back and then turn
yeah,
back
because
on.
I think they were saying they turn them on and off to save the battery because
Yeah.
there's no power in there. The ghosts kill their light at one point.
Yeah.
But there's a scene and it's Day of the Dead with the arms, or is it Dawn of the Dead or Day of the Dead where the
Oh, I
arms
don't know, but out of the ceiling.
yeah, and it's like exactly the same.
I think it's day actually.
I think so too, because she's sleeping like, and then
It's in the military bunker, right?
yeah, it's Day.
Yeah. Yeah. What other scenes stick out to you in this movie?
Mostly that one. The arm, the girl's face, the bathtub of blood.
The guy eating the rat at the end doesn't?
He does more of that in the second one.
Oh, great.
Yeah. He's like, it's my main food source. So but yeah, no, that's I thought that was interesting. How he finds that room, like the occult room or whatever that the doctor was using. That's whatever, but it's overall like as a whole, I kind of look at it as like two movies, like you were saying. We get that split where it was basically a show. We get like a 30-minute episode, 40-minute episode of a show, and then we get like the chaos that ensues, like after the cameras turn off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that last week I complained that the barn or the house or whatever they were in didn't feel like a character of the movie. Well, this does. This is how you can make it feel like a character, and I like the fact. I guess the part where I was kind of surprised in a good way is where they try to get back to the front door and they can't find it, and the kind of place just gets bigger and kind of a maze, but then they find the front door.
Yeah.
So it's like they were outside, but they weren't, but they were looking at the front door with the chain on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool what they do.
And I thought that was just a really neat kind of twist.
No, for sure. There's that part's cool. And like you're saying, the setting being almost like a character piece. I mean, like I said, the hospital, like you can't go wrong with that, or a ward, because I mean, you got old gurneys, you have old wheelchairs, you have the bathtub. There's like toilet, like a dirty old toilet that's like shut down. Just a lot of little things that work for this movie for that kind of reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I mean, it's an hour and a half. You can't beat a movie that's an hour and a half. We've said it before.
Yeah, I mean, it does go by quick. I was never really bored. It's a little hard to talk about for the simple fact that like the movie stars aren't they do a lot of TV now, a lot of one-offs, some movies here and there, some Hallmark movies. I saw some of them. This was done by the Vicious Brothers, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how close they are to the Duffer Brothers, but they're more vicious, I guess. They did Grave Encounters 1 and 2, and then they helped write Extraterrestrial. I think that was done in 2014. I haven't seen that, but then honestly, there's nothing after that for the most part. So it's kind of, I mean, for these movies to be as successful as they were, it's kind of shocking that they didn't get roles on other jobs.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe they had something else as a career and just did this for fun. Who knows? I would have
Maybe.
liked to see, one or two other things after a little bit of time in between that stuff. I thought I had seen Extraterrestrial, but it wasn't in my thing. There was a couple movies around the same time, like 2010 forward, where it was like a black and blue poster with aliens on the front. There's Pod has a similar one.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 of them that look identical, kind of like the poster of the girl getting dragged away, reaching for the screen.
Yeah.
With
It's on like 6 different
on
movie
like
covers.
it's like Absentia, Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a few others, but it's like they went through a period of time where they were like, what's
Yeah.
selling right now? Girl getting dragged away. Now put it on the cover. It's like, yeah, you could do something different. It doesn't have to be that. But that was the whole red box advertising generation where
Yeah.
you had to have a cover that popped, because if not, people are just going to scroll right by your thing.
How the fuck does Redbox still exist?
I don't know.
I mean, how?
I don't even think I've ever used it. I went with friends that used it, but
I mean, I used it back in the day.
I never did.
I mean, for me, like, if you listen to the show, it's so hard for me. I don't really have a proper way to even put a disc into something to watch a movie. I mean, I have them around, but I mean, like, they're not optimal to what I want. So
yeah,
I end up just renting it on digital or something.
that's true.
Or praying that they're on Tubi.
Yeah. Speaking of physical, this doesn't have a Region 1 Blu-ray.
Really?
Yeah, so it only has a Region 2, and I've almost got it a few times, but didn't. But then the second one does have a Region A release, which I found interesting.
Yeah, that's weird.
And the other thing, I watched it on Netflix, I think, the first time or something like that. Then I know I watched it on Shudder once, because on the app I couldn't get rid of the continue watching. And it drove me crazy. I was like, get it out of there. And but they lost the licensing to it, so I couldn't stream it again. So it was just stuck there. And finally it cleared itself off, like after years. And I was like, okay. And now it's on Tubi. And I think before that it was on something else. It made a return to Shudder, and streaming's weird. And like we said earlier, it's filled with ads anymore, regardless of like tiers, and they're blocking certain things. So I mean, physical's to me still king, but it's the convenience of streaming. If you could find it where you want, is always the easiest way to do something.
Yeah, I mean, part of my problem too sometimes is our streaming doesn't work well, like just doesn't work well.
Yeah, I could see that happening. But
so,
all
right, let's go ahead and rate this thing. How about it?
Yeah, let's do it. Before we were recording, I told you a real low rating, but I'm not. I'm not giving it that low rating. I'll give it a 2.5. It's watchable. It's closer to a 2 than a 2.5, but
yeah, probably. I'd give it 2.5. It's not terrible. I mean, other people would probably like it better than me. Like I said, I didn't hate it. It did have enough to make me like certain parts of it.
Yeah. And if you're going through like found footage phase, or you're trying to knock off as many found footage
Ghosts or aliens,
it's one I would toss in to just say, oh, this one's worth noting of, like something like that, just to have it. But yeah, that's a respectable score for this movie. So
yeah, I agree. So what do we got coming up next week? We're going Bigfoot, right?
Yeah, we're going back to Eduardo Sanchez, and we're covering Exists from 20-something. Oops.
2015 or 16?
Yeah, let's take a look here. We got a second. 2014. So same time. See, and it's another poster that's black and blue. It looks just like Extraterrestrial.
That's funny. What are we doing after that?
After that, we're doing. What did I write down here? Drag Me to Hell. So we're going to cover some
Oh
Sam
yeah, Drag Me
Neiman.
Out. And then then the next one's 139.
Yeah, 139, and we
And
decided.
we just decided right before the show from 2014, Die Delta Pi.
Yeah, and who's that one by?
I think damn glare. I can't read nothing anymore. Sean Donahue, who's done a bunch of stuff like he did the Blood, Guts, and Sunshine documentary.
Mm-hmm.
He did Swamp Woman, and but this also says and Chris Leto. So I'm not familiar with Chris Leto, but I was looking at the cast to see if I recognized anybody right off, but I don't really. So this will be cool. I'm kind of excited.
Yeah,
It's an
something
80s
different.
movie, sorority 80s movie. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. See what's going on.
So remember, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Night of the Nerdy Laser. You can also review and subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anything really, except Google Podcasts. I think that's going away.
Is it?
Or Stitcher? I don't know. Some things are going away. I don't know. But really, I assume most people either listen off Spotify or Libsyn, or not Libsyn, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, that's my guess. And sometimes you can catch us on our YouTube page.
That was a dig at me, folks, if you didn't catch that.
You're busy. I get it.
I'm so busy. I can't even. So busy that I started another podcast that I'll talk about in the future. Which I have to record tonight too. So.
Oh, good.
All right, folks. Well, we appreciate you listening to us and following us and telling your friends about us. You can email us at nightofnerdylaser@gmail.com if you want to tell us how bad we suck or how good we are. Your choice. And what should they do next time?
Well, they should keep it bloody.
Because somebody has to eat the spam.